and more cablegrams. Dad is going crazy upstairs. That bell ringing and all.
Oh, would you go, June? What'd you say, Richard?
One's from New York and one's from San Francisco.
Something from Alaska earlier.
That bird brain of yours never touched
Listen, it's a great way. He wants some Players Club cigarettes, right? Players Club.
They haven't got any pictures. I'll run down and get some.
Tell me, Miss Reed, are they bringing him out soon? We're getting him on foot now. He'll be up very soon. Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad. He must be very happy.
Trapped like a rat in this hellhole.
You can talk then. All right. Well, who do you think that was? Mr. H.G. Wells from London. H.G. Wells? On our telephone? Yeah. Oh, I'll go. Mr. I'm going to have to. Hold this line, Sarah. Is it fresh? Oh, yes, ma'am.
You move like a broken down truck horse.
His voice is just the same as on the radio. Good morning. Girls, what do you think? He's getting up and coming out any moment. You don't mean it. Can we stay and see him? Oh, why, of course. He'd love it. What do you think just happened? I'll be upstairs if you need me, Mother. Oh, June, tell your father you better come down. Mr. Whiteside's coming out. Yes, Mother. Is he really coming out this morning? I brought him a plane. Do you think it's all right if I give it to him? Why, I think that would be lovely. Oh, and some calf's jelly. How nice. Girls, who do you think was just on the phone? H.G. Wells from London. And look at these cablegrams. He's had calls and messages from all over the country and Europe. The New York Times, Felix Frankfurter, Dr. Defoe, the Mount Wilson Observatory. I just can't tell you what's been going on. I'm simply exhausted.
There's a big piece about it in this week's Times. Did you see it?
No, really?
Your name's in it too, Daisy. Listen. Sheridan Whiteside, critic, lecturer, wit, radio orator, intimate friend of the great and near great, last week found his celebrated wit no weapon with which to combat an injured him. Mr. Whiteside, trekking across the country on one of his annual lecture tours, met his Waterloo in the shape of a small piece of ice on the doorstep of Mr. and Mrs. Ernest W. Stanley of Messalia, Ohio. Result: canceled lectures and disappointment to thousands of adoring club women in Omaha, Denver, and Points West. Further result: the idol of the airways rests until further notice in home of surprised Mr. and Mrs. Stanley. Possibility: Christmas may be postponed this year. What's that mean?
Let me see that. A small piece of ice on the doorstep of Mr. and Mrs. Why, think of it.
Of course, if it were my house, Daisy, I'd have a bronze plate put on the step right where he fell.
Well, of course I feel terrible about it. He just never goes to dinner anywhere. He finally agreed to come here, and this had to happen. Poor Mr. Whiteside. But it'll be so wonderful having him here, even for a little while. I just think of it. We'll sit around at night and talk about all the great people he's known, all the books he's written, and he'll talk in that wonderful way of his. And he might even read Goodbye, Mr. Chips to us.
Daisy, I can't wait any longer. Mr. Whiteside, good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Ernest, he's getting up and coming out any moment. And H.G. Wells telephoned from London. And look, we're in time.
I don't like this kind of publicity at all, Daisy. When do you suppose he's going to leave?
Well, he is only getting up this morning after all. And he's been in bed for 2 full weeks. He'll certainly have to rest for a little while, Ernest.
I'm sure it's a great honor his being in the house, but it is a little upsetting. Phone going all the time, bells ringing, messenger boys running in and out.
Pardon me, Mrs. Stanley, have the cigarettes come yet?
They're on their way, Miss Cutler. My son just went for them.
Thank you.
Oh, this is Miss Cutler, Mr. Whiteside's secretary.
How do you do?
Good morning.
May I move this chair?
You mean he's coming out now?
He is indeed.
He's coming out? I can hardly wait.
Oh, June! June, Mr. Whiteside's coming out!
Sarah! Mr. Whiteside is coming out!
Oh, I'm so excited. I don't know what to do.
Me too, I'm a little stiffly.
Good morning, Dr. Bradley.
Good morning, good morning. Well, here we are, merry and bright. Bring our little patient out, Miss Free.
I may vomit.
Well, good morning, Mr. Whiteside. I'm Mrs. Ernest Stanley, remember? And this is my husband, Mr. Stanley.
How do you do, Mr. Whiteside? I hope that you're better.
Thank you. I'm soon you
for $150,000. How's that? What? I said I am suing you for $150,000.
Because you slipped on our steps, Mr. Whiteside?
Samuel J. Leibowitz will explain it to you in court. Who are those two harpies standing there like a kiss of death?
Oh dear, I cast such a
Made from your own foot, I have no doubt. And now, Mrs. Stanton, I have a few small matters to take up with you. Since this corner druggist at my elbow tells me that I shall be confined to this moldy mortuary for at least another 10 days, due entirely to your stupidity and negligence, I shall have to carry on my activities as best I can. I shall require the exclusive use of this room, as well as that drafty sewer in which you call the library. I want no one to come in or out while I'm in this room.
What do you mean, sir?
Oh, we have to go upstairs to get to our rooms, Mr. Whiteside.
Well, isn't there a back entrance?
Why, yes.
That means that. I shall also require a room for my secretary, Miss Cutler. Let me see. Oh, I'll have a great many incoming and outgoing calls, so please do not use the telephone. I sleep until noon and must have quiet throughout the house until that hour. There will be 5 for lunch today. Where is the cook?
Mr. Whiteside, if I may interrupt.
You may not, sir! You take your clammy hands off my chair. You have the touch of a slimy cobra. And if you will not, please leave. Or must I ask my secretary to pass among you with a baseball bat?
Goodbye, Paul.
Now look here. There is nothing to discuss, sir. Considering the damages I have suffered at your hands, I am asking very little. Good day.
I'll call you from the office later, Daisy.
Not on this phone, please. Here is the menu for lunch.
Oh, but I've already ordered lunch.
It's only sent up to you on a tray. I'm using the dining room for my guests. Where are those cigarettes?
My son just went for... Here, Sarah. Here's the menu for lunch. I'll have mine upstairs on a tray. Yes, ma'am.
Young lady, I cannot stand indecision. Will you either go up those stairs or come down them?
Hello, Mr. Whiteside. Here are those cigarettes you want. Sorry to keep you so long. I go to 3 different stores.
You've gone long enough to have a baby. Is there a man who suffers as I do from the gross inadequacies of the human race? Where are you going? Go in and read the life of Florence Nightingale and learn just how unfitted you are for your chosen profession.
Well, I think I can safely leave you in Miss Cutler's capable hands. Shall I look in again this afternoon?
If you do, I shall spit right in your eye.
What a sense of humor you writers have. By the way, it isn't really worth mentioning, but I've been doing a little writing myself about my medical experiences.
Am I to be spared?
Would it be too much to ask you to glance it over while you're here?
Trout.
I just happen to have a copy with me. The story of an humble practitioner for 40 years in Ohio doctor.
I shall drop everything.
Thank you, and I hope you like it. Well, see you on the morrow. Keep that hip wide and don't forget those little pills. Goodbye.
Oh, thank you. Will you take 40 years below the navel or whatever it's called?
Well, I must say you have certainly behaved with all of your accustomed grace and charm.
Look here, puss. I'm in no mood to discuss my behavior, good or bad. I never desired to cross this cheerless threshold. I was hounded and badgered into it. I now find myself, after 2 weeks of racking pain, accused of behaving without charm. What would you have me do, kiss them?
Very well, Sherry. After 10 years, I should have known better than to try and do anything about your manners. When I finally give up this job, I may just write a book about it all. Through the years with Prince Charming.
Listen, repulsive. You are tied to me with an umbilical cord made of piano wire. And now, if we may dismiss the subject of my charm, for which, incidentally, I receive $1,500 per appearance, possibly we get to work. Oh, no, we can't. Yes?
My name is Harry Stanley. I know you are Sheridan Whiteside. I found this holly framed green against the pine trees, and I remembered what you had written about Tess and Jude the Obscure. It was the nicest present I could bring you.
For God's sake, what was that?
That is Mr. Stanley's sister, Harriet. I've talked to her a few times before. She's quite strange.
Strange. She's right under the hound of the Baskervilles. I think I've seen that face somewhere before.
Nonsense, you couldn't have.
Anyways, let's get to work. Here, press is in the doctor's book. I see no reason why I should endorse native form procedures.
Here's some telegram.
Oh, what day is this?
December 10th.
Send a wire to Columbia Broadcasting Service. You can schedule my Christmas Eve broadcast from the New York studio, as I shall return east instead of proceeding to Hollywood. Stop. For special New Year's Eve broadcast, I will have as my guests Yasha Heifetz, Catherine Cornell, Skip Pirelli, The Lutz, Dr. Alexis Caro, Haile Selassie, and short-wave for me. Whiteside.
Are you sure you'll be all right by Christmas, Sherry?
Oh, of course I will. Oh, send a cable to Mahatma Gandhi, Bombay, India. Dear Boo, the schedule change. Can you meet me Calcutta, July 12th, dinner 8:30? Whiteside. Wire to the editor of the Atlantic Monthly. Dear Stick, copy will arrive. Whiteside. Arturo Toscanini. Where is he?
I'll find him.
Counting on you January 4th, Metropolitan Opera House for my annual benefit, home for paroled convicts in Crockfield. As you know, this is a very worthy cause and close to my heart. Tibbet, Redberg, Martinelli, and Flagstaff have all promised me personally to appear. Will you have quiet supper with me and Ethel Barrymore? Whiteside. If that's for Mrs. Stanley, tell them she's too drunk for to talk.
Hello? What? Hollywood?
If it's Goldwyn, hang up.
Hello, Banjo!
Rachel!
Banjo, you old so-and-so, how are you, darling?
Come on, give me the phone!
Shut up, Sherry! When are you coming east, Banjo? I miss you. Oh, he's going to
Stop dribbling and give me the phone!
He's screaming at me now. Here he is.
How are you? My phone's behind. And what are you giving me for Christmas? What news? What news? How are Wacko and Slappo? How's the picture coming? Oh, no, I'm fine. Yes, I've got the best horse doctor in town. What about you? Having any fun? Playing any cribbage? What? Don't take all this money, keep a little bit for me. Your what? Having your portrait painted by who? Milt Gross? Not really. No, I go from here to New York. I stay there for 12 days and then I go to Dartmouth for the drama festival. You wouldn't understand. Anyways, I can't spend all of my time talking to Hollywood riffraff. Kiss Luella Parsons for me. Goodbye. He took $1,400 from Sam Goldwyn at cribbage last night. And Sam said, Banjo, I will never play garbage with you again.
What's all this about him having his fortune painted?
Salvador Dali. That's all that basement needs. A surrealist to paint it. Now this bedpan.
It's your pills. One every 45 minutes.
There's a cable here from that dear friend of yours, Lorraine Sheldon.
Let me see.
No. Sherry, my poor sweet lamb,
does.
Oh,
Destiny's Tot!
England's little rover boy!
Dear baby's breath, what is this I hear about your hip fractured at some bordello brawl? Just as me and our Hollywood Christmas party is on. I just finished my play in Pago Pago and it's superb. Myself and a ukulele leave Honolulu tomorrow in that order. By the way, the Sultan of Zanzibar wants to meet you and Ginger Rogers. Let's face it, Oscar Wilde.
He does travel, doesn't he? You know, it would be nice if the world revolved around Beverly Carlton for a change.
Hollywood next week. Well, why doesn't he stop over here on his way to New York? Send a cable to Beverly Carlton, Royal Hawaiian Hotel, Honolulu. If these people intend to have their friends using the front door,
What do you want them to do? Use a rope ladder?
I will not have lots of mildewed pus bags rushing in and out of this house while I'm
Good morning, John.
There's nobody home. The Stanleys have been arrested for wet slavery. Go away.
Good morning, Mr. Whiteside. I'm Jefferson of the Massalia Journal.
Get rid.
I'm sorry, Mr. Whiteside has seen no one.
Really?
So will you please excuse us? Good day.
Mr. Whiteside seems to be sitting up and taking notice.
I'm afraid he's not taking notice of the Massalia Journal. Do you mind?
You know, if I'm going to be insulted, I'd like for it to be by Mr. Whiteside himself. I never did like carbon copies.
Touche if I ever heard one. And in Massalia too, Maggie dear.
Will you please leave?
How about an interview, Mr. Whiteside?
I never did that. Go away.
Mr. Whiteside, if I don't get this interview, I'd lose my job.
That would be quite all right with me.
Now, you don't mean that, Mr. Whiteside. You used to be a newspaper man yourself. You know what editors are like. Well, mine's the toughest one that ever lived.
You won't get around me that way. If you don't like the paper, then get off it.
Yes, but I happen to think it's a good paper. William Allen White could have got it of Victoria, but he didn't.
You have the effrontery in my presence to compare yourself with that of William Allen White.
Only in the sense that White stayed notorious. And I want to stay here and say what I have to say.
Such as what?
Well, I can't put it into words, Mr. Whiteside. It sounds like an awful lot of hooey, but the journal was my father's paper. It's kind of a sentimental point to me, the paper. I'd like to carry on where he left off.
Ah, so you own the paper, eh?
That's right.
Then this terrifying editor, this dreadful journalistic apocalypse is you yourself?
In a word, yes.
I see.
In the future, Sherry, let me know when you don't want to talk to people. I'll usher them right in.
Young man, come over here. I suppose you've written that novel?
No, I've written that play.
Anyways, I don't want to read it. Do these old eyes see a box of goodies over there? Hand them to me, will you?
The trouble is, Mr. Whiteside, that everything in this town comes under the heading of news. Practically the biggest news since the Depression. So, I just gotta get a story.
Pecan butternut fudge!
Oh my! You must be candy, Mr. Whiteside. It's very bad for you.
My great aunt ate a whole box of candy every day of her life. She lived to be 102. And when she had been dead 3 days, she looked better than you do now. You're about to say, oh, what are you about to say?
I can at least report to my readers that chivalry is not yet dead.
You won't discuss it. Anyways, now that you have won me with your pretty ways, what would you like to know?
Well, how about a brief talk on famous murders? You're an authority on murder as a fine art.
My dear boy, when I talk about murder, I get paid for it. I made more money off the Snyder Gray case than the lawyers did, so don't expect to get it for nothing.
Well, then, what do you think of Massalia? How long are you going to be here? Where are you going? Things like that.
Very well. A, Massalia is a town of irresistible charm. B, I cannot wait to get out of it. And C, I go from here to Crockfield for my semi-annual benefit, Home for Parole Convicts, for which I have raised over $500,000 in the past 5 years. From there, I go to New York. Have you ever been to Crockfield, Jefferson?
No, I haven't. I always meant to.
Well, as a newspaper man, you want to go instead of wasting your time with me. It's only about 75 miles from here.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Whiteside. You've been very kind. By the way, I'm a cribbage player, if you need one like here.
Very well. How much can you afford to lose?
I usually win.
We won't discuss it. Come back at 8:30 and play three-hand with me and Elsie Dinsmore. Sherry! That's the incredible little hat. What are you doing here?
I explain, Sherry, but first I kiss my little Maggie.
That's darling, what a wonderful surprise.
The enchanted Metz. Jefferson, you're standing in the presence of Professor Adolf Metz, the world's greatest authority on insect life.
How do you do?
How do you do? Well, Sherry.
Metz, stop standing there and looking at me adorably. Tell me why you're here.
Well, you're sick, Sherry, so I come to cheer you.
Jefferson, he lived in a cave for 2 years with nothing but plant lice. He reads 3 pages in the Encyclopedia Britannica. Now, don't you mind little hookworm?
Please, Sherry, you embarrass me. I brought you a present to while away the hours. Please. I said to my students, boys and girls, I want to get a present for my sick friend Sheridan Whiteside. So you know what we did? We made for you an entire community of Paraplaneta Americana, more commonly known as the American cockroach. Behold, Sherry, Rose City! Inside here are 10,000 cockroaches.
10,000. Sarah! Sarah, what do you mean?
If all goes well, in 1 week, there will be 50,000.
If all goes well, well, what could go wrong? They're in there, aren't they?
Quiet, please.
You can watch them, Sherry, when they live out their entire lives. Look, here's their maternity hospital. It is fascinating. They do everything human beings do.
Well,
Please, man. These are my cockroaches.
And now, with these earphones, you can listen to the mating calls. There are little microphones on inside. Listen.
How long has this been going on?
Aha! Paraplaneta Americana. There are cockroaches in this house.
I beg your pardon. Mr. Whiteside, I will not stand here.
Then go upstairs. I suppose these are my lunch and gifts. Matt, you're staying the day, of course.
Certainly.
Jefferson, stay for lunch.
Glad to.
Maggie, help me over 2 more. Baker, come right in. Jefferson, these men now serving the final months of their prison terms have chosen to enter the iron-covered walls of Crosby. They have come here today to learn the history of its tradition. Gentlemen, I envy your great adventure. Michelson, aren't you? Butcher shop murderer? Yes, sir. I recognized you.
And the last one, Jefferson, is Henderson,
The hatchet fiend always chopped up his victims into salad bowls, remember?
Yes. Yes. You lunch is ready, Mr. Whiteside.
Oh, goody, yes, you're right. Can I help you? Thank you. We're having chicken livers, tetrazzini, and Sharon's doodly for dessert. I want every little tummy of butter with gastric juices. John, will you close the doors, please? I don't want people prying on the better. So,
John,